Buckle up, hotties. It's time to talk some hoops. Welcome to Crunch Wears No Pants with Brandon, Nate, and Jordan.
What's poppin', panty people? Welcome to Crunch Wears No Pants. That is Brandon Beck. He's the smart one. That's Nate Alsdorf. He's the funny one. I am Jordan Alamat. I swear sometimes. What's my bit?
I also swear sometimes.
I've sworn once.
What's my bit, though?
You are a perfect blend of the two. You're the host, and
With the most?
The host with
you
the
have
most.
hot takes,
Okay.
spicy takes, Jordan.
Well, whatever. We are Crunch Wears No Pants. We represent the hoops department at pulltabsports.com, and we are powered exclusively by Jimmy's Dips and Joe Mama's Salsa. All we eat is dip and salsa. All we do is eat, dip and salsa. Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Chemistry.
That was pretty cool. Okay, so
I loved listening to it.
Yeah.
We have just an electrifying show for you today. Will the vibes be discussed? Yes. Will random wolves of the week be randomized? Absolutely. And we'll even talk about villains today. But first, icebreaker question. Brandon, take it over.
Hit us.
All right, I've got an icebreaker question for you guys.
Break that ice.
I don't know if Durf's gonna be as excited about this one. This
Wow.
one's really geared towards you, Jolly.
Ostracized over
Break
here.
my ice.
Okay, so coming out this year on
Coming.
Disney Plus,
Oh,
Ahsoka.
We did the chemistry thing again.
Okay. If I could guarantee for the next 5 years the Wolves have any playoff seed in the Western Conference, but
Yes.
the Ahsoka show is going to be terrible.
Like worse than
Worse
Kenobi?
than Boba Fett, worse than Resistance, worse than Marvel's What If.
oof.
It's going to be a disaster. What seed do you need to guarantee the Wolves at?
There's no seed.
5 years of the one seed, you wouldn't take a bad Ahsoka show?
No, I need rings, baby. I've watched horrendous basketball, and I'll continue to watch horrendous basketball. But when I was a teenager, Ahsoka Tano was a teenager. When I'm an adult, she's an adult. She's tattooed on my body. She might be the single most important character in my life.
Well, but
So-
5 years of the one seed gives you a really good shot at championships.
No, I cannot see my girl Ahsoka Tano. I just have a horrible show. I would be,
Durf's going to come in
So
here at like
sad.
8. Like, just get him in.
and that's fine. Durf,
That's
I'm good.
your choice as champion.
It's if I had to choose between the Timberwolves being good or Star Wars being good, it's Star Wars.
Wow.
I think, mostly because it's so foreign to me.
I'm gonna pick the one seed because you're giving me the choice. Of
Well,
just
no, I'm
choosing-
saying,
Okay, you're
like, so
saying-
we're like negotiating this
minimum?
Okay,
down.
okay, yeah,
like,
yeah.
you say one seed, I say, okay, I'll give you the 2 seed. You say yes.
So
Yes.
Durf, you're Durf in the scenario, and Beck is God.
I'm
in the
just trying to get the
scenario.
Wolves as good as I can get them. Yeah, it's 8 seed for me. I like
This
Ahsoka.
guy.
I like Ahsoka a lot.
Mm.
Great character.
You've
I can
seen
empathize.
like 2 episodes
this
of
guy
Ahsoka.
No,
This
I
thing-
know. That's what I'm saying is that I just don't have that. Like, I'm going to be really excited when the show is good. But in this scenario, with my current brain, I'm choosing, 8 seed.
That's fair.
My answer is 4 seed. If they're hosting a playoff series every year for 5 years, I would sacrifice the Ahsoka
I forgot
show.
that we could also attend the game.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And it's just sacrificing the
would be-
Ahsoka show. So Mando can still be awesome.
Nah, the
Ahsoka can still show up in other stuff and be awesome.
Ahsoka's too special.
I think we need to revisit this after season 1 comes out and it's awesome. And then it's like, now it sucks season 2. Like, it just falls flat.
So it's like a floating thing.
Because I'm not emotionally invested in this conversation.
I am
yet.
It's
too
like-
I will
emotionally
be.
invested.
It's
in
like
this.
Game of Thrones, where the first like 5
Yeah.
seasons of Ahsoka rock.
And then it just like falls off. God, I would cry so bad. Well, thank you for electrifying me with my favorite character. That really just makes me
No pandering
so
there whatsoever.
yeah.
I can't believe though you wouldn't take 5 years of the one seed for
I need
one
rings.
bad season of Star Wars
Bro,
television.
I've had fun watching I had fun going to the games in 2013. Nothing can scare me as long as the logo stays good and the merch is fine. I'm gonna be cool. Well, speaking of, let's transition away from a galaxy far, far away, much to my chagrin. Let's talk about Timberwolves basketball, which, again, I think the vibes are just fine. But we're gonna talk about the vibes after we talk about a man. I'm not going to talk about James Dipperton. Jimmy's Dips, baby. When you go into Cover Hy-Vee, look for the apples. And when you do, you'll find Jimmy's caramel dip, right? Standard caramel or sea salt caramel. A bucket, jar. No, it's not a jar.
I think it's, I would think a bucket.
Container?
Yeah. It's bucket shaped with a lid.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the little
What is
carrying.
the word?
It's
I
just
guess
like a little
container.
bucket.
It's a plastic container.
It's a
I
tiny
don't know.
bucket.
It's a quart size.
Well, yeah, but that's like a bucket
Quart.
is a container, but a container isn't necessarily a bucket.
Wait,
Yeah.
but is a square a rectangle or a rectangle is a square?
Square is a rectangle.
Let's
but
keep
a
it-
rectangle
let's keep
isn't
it bucket.
necessarily
Okay, so but is a
square.
bucket a container or is a container a bucket?
A
Yes.
bucket is a container, but a container isn't necessarily a bucket.
So it's
That's
one of
correct. Let's keep it bucket for the
I
tie-in
think
to
it's a bucket.
basketball.
Oh yeah, it's a bucket of
Jimmy
Is
buckets.
No.
Jimmy's
no.
dips.
No. This took a bad turn.
either way, a bucket or a container, whatever you want to call it, it's going to run you about $4.99 and it'll be delicious. It'll be as delicious as Naz Reid's footwork. Yummy.
You can really
Slurp
taste,
it up.
You can really taste the footwork in the.
You need the sea salt for that one to taste the footwork.
You can dip your apples in it. You can dip your pretzels in it. Guys, guess what I dipped in it recently?
A
I don't want
cucumber.
to know.
No, graham crackers.
Oh, that does sound good.
You are so dirty, you dirty, dirty boy. Where would you get that idea?
Maybe the
Definitely
other
not-
5 Jimmy's Dips ad reads you've done.
Definitely not all the censoring that we've done in the last 6 episodes.
No, I'm a new man.
The last episode was just an hour-long bleeped out. The intro music, a big beep, and then the show was over.
It's white noise.
Just freaking I was gonna say brown noise, but it's more like a golden brown because of Jimmy's dips.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to say that. Okay, when you support Jimmy's, you're supporting both a family business and a Minnesota company. Jimmy's is made in Stewartsville, Minnesota. It's their home, and they're a third-generation family-run business. My family hasn't even been in the country for 3 generations. Jimmy's Dips is more American than me. How does that make you feel, you radical alt-right people that listen?
That took a
I
wild
looked
turn.
directly in the camera.
Did you just put words in all of our audiences'
Yeah,
mouths?
yeah.
Fair enough.
We are the premier alt-right pod of Timberwolves.
This is a dangerous soundbite to have.
Yeah. Oh,
At least serve that he's like talking about himself
Yeah,
now and not like
true.
putting this
That's
on
true.
you.
I have no complaints.
it's on. It's on all of us now.
Oh gosh, as an entity.
That's gonna all be deleted because they cannot be in an ad read. I'm sorry. I'm red now. Jimmy's Dips. Go buy it. If you don't, I don't even know what's gonna happen.
We'll come after you.
That was more on the rails than it's been.
That
Honestly,
was more on the
Yes.
rails.
I'll say that it's getting narrower and narrower. Like
That,
Okay,
is that supposed to be a trade?
he's putting the
That's
bumpers
me
up.
putting the bumpers up.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are the vibes, gentlemen? How are the freaking vibes? Let's talk about it. Since we last recorded, when we were all in studio, remember?
Yeah,
Brandon
we're
was
all
there.
in studio.
I was here. Durf
Yeah.
was there.
Oh, I was definitely there, not in bed.
You were so there. And everything that happened is this. We beat the Clippers. When I say we beat someone, you guys go, yay.
Yay.
And
I
then-
hope this doesn't have to be like a permanent podcast thing.
Okay, you don't
That's
like it?
weird.
Okay, we won't have to do it. We won't do it.
We can do it for this segment
Okay,
though.
we beat the Clippers.
Yay!
We beat the Rockets.
Yay!
We lost to the Pistons.
Boo.
We beat the Suns.
Yay!
We beat the Cavs.
Yay!
And then we lost to Walker Kessler.
Sad.
Boo.
And then we lost to the Nuggets.
Boo, but less boo.
And then D'Angelo Russell said he was an alpha because when you're an alpha, you definitely have to say you're an alpha. And then
He also,
Yay!
he also said you either make it work with me or you
fuck it up. And that's a great thing to hear from your third max player. And then
you
Austin
want.
Rivers. Austin Rivers, our new competition, started a podcast. Austin, you're going down. Our friend is now our enemy.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And then Frank Garza tweeted at us. And now we are here on January 19th, 2023. So I posed again the question, gentlemen, how are the vibes? Nate, how are they? Talk about it.
I'm gonna say that the vibes are, generally speaking, pretty good. They're above okay, but they're not good. But I'm looking at the wins that we've had are quality.
Mhm.
We just played the Nuggets to the very end, and while it was a bad 3 minutes, our team is deep, and our front court is nice. And my boy Luka Garza that I never once doubted, and I never sold my stock, and I've got triples of the
You got triples of the Luca.
triples of the Barracuda.
It's fun to see our bench put out some effort.
Triples of the centers is good.
Exactly. Yeah, we need triples. Well,
The deal fell through.
Quadruples if you count.
Yeah.
Nate.
Well, actually, quintuples if you count Nate. You got the Rudy Cat.
Oh, right.
Nas, Luka, Nate Knight. Kyle Anderson, kind of a center.
Kyle Anderson, kind of in everything.
Kyle Anderson, the ideal man.
Just the Brandon Beck thing.
I will say it feels like we're still not healthy yet, and whatever it is, what it is. But it's just fun to see the bench perform well, and we've had a couple nice wins.
And spirited basketball. There's a pulse on the court. Brandon, how are the vibes?
I think they're fine. I might not be as good as Durf is saying.
That's okay.
Something I've been kind of paying attention to outside of the Pistons game, the last Pistons game that was really, really bad. They haven't been blown out in a really long time. They do, for better or for worse, they play up and down to their competition. So they're in all these games. On a 2-game losing streak right now. They've lost a couple close ones. But those close games hurt more because of all the missed opportunity they've had in this first 40 games. 2 losses to the Pistons, 2 losses to the Spurs, the loss to the Hornets, losing to the Thunder earlier in the season. When you drop the ball on those
literally
games that you really need, you're supposed to win, when you drop the ball on those, that makes these close losses hurt even more, because realistically, you're only gonna be 500 in close games. I mean, the Vikings, this is the classic the Vikings thing this year is they were 11-0 in 1-score games, and everyone was all really excited about that. But the truth is, over a large enough sample size,
it averages out.
Most teams are just going to be 500 in those games.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make hay in those games where you're heavily favored in. They haven't done that, and as a result, now they're just kind of mired around 500. I'd be really surprised if they went out and won tonight. A lot of circumstances going against them. So barring a really, really good win, they're going to find themselves 3 games below 500 again. And they just kind of seem to be kind of stuck around 500. And we have the rose-colored glasses segment later where we'll talk about how we think they kind of break out of this stuck in 500-ness that they have. But right now, that's just kind of what it feels like. They take 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, and they are just kind of.
But boy, is it fun when they're walking forward. May I share my thoughts on the vibes?
Go for it.
Do it.
I agree with everything you said, Brandon and Durf, but I feel very good about it.
Okay.
Because you can't lose by 2 to the Nuggets if you don't play hard and try and have some modicum of talent. So I see these things. Now, I'll talk about this a little bit later. But we have, this is a good transition into Derrick Rose colored glasses. I think the vibes are great, or I think they're not great. I think they're promising and they're growing and it's exciting.
Okay.
So we're gonna. Oh yeah.
I just want to throw
Yes,
in
sir.
one last thought.
Yes, sir.
Is that I think the way. So first off, just a general optimist prime. But I think for me, the reason why the vibes are pretty good is it's the goal line changes throughout the season, and I'm looking at this as the window that we're in. And so my expectation going into certain games and how they perform based on that is kind of how I'm gauging that. So for example, last night's game, thinking we're going to lose by 50 to Denver.
Yep.
And so I do totally see where you're coming from, and I agree with that. But coming out of that and being okay, yeah, as the season goes, not great. But right now, weathering the storm of some of these injuries, there's a positive.
Yeah. So I think my point is, though, when you've dropped the ball as much as you have in these games against these bad teams, you really need to seize the opportunities you have to steal these games you're not supposed to win, to just make up that ground. Because they played the 3rd easiest schedule in the NBA right now. They're 2 games below 500. Part of playing a really easy schedule in the first half of the season means you're going to play a really hard schedule in the second half of the season. So they're just really losing opportunity to really cement themselves I don't think they're a home court advantage team. I still think the West is right there for them to be 5-6, but they're losing opportunity to stay in that group.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Maybe I get what you're saying, but
winning is nice. Winning is nice, but like, I think, well, I would love it if they won, but I see a path where it's like they sneak in, I've said this numerous times, so this is not new. I think they sneak in at 7 or 8, and I think they are like giant slayers because then, Cat's coming back, they're going to catch a run like in April, May, and then they're going to heat up, and I think they could, like, if we get the Nuggets again with a healthy Cat, I think we cook them. I think it's 4-0, 8 sweeps the 1.
I agree. Go ahead.
You agree that we'll sweep the Nuggets as an 8 seed. I'm being optimistic.
I don't want to play Nikola Jokic in the playoffs.
We definitely don't.
Also, he's a complaining boy. My lord.
He is also really, really effing good.
He's super good, and sorry, Durf. He's good and whatever.
Yeah, I just think I look at it more of a perspective of I do agree. I think you're right. I think you can't only take moral victories and like
says who?
I mean, you could. It's just like not really great fandom. So only. I mean, I guess you're really enjoying your life because there's nothing bad ever happens. But I just mean like I'm optimistic about how we've been playing without our best player, and we're going to get our best player back.
That's a moral victory. Sounds a lot like a moral victory.
I just said not strictly.
Well, I think we're tippy-toeing around optimistic territory. So I think we should move into our segment called Derrick Rose Colored Glasses. Don't love memorializing Derrick Rose, but here we are.
Oh my gosh. I saw a tweet today.
Yeah.
Someone tweeted like a video montage of Derrick Rose, and the tweet was, Derrick Rose has to be the most likable superstar in NBA history. And I was like... And then someone had quote tweeted it. They were like, this guy must have the best PR team in the
world. Derrick Rose Colored Glasses. So we've all picked out some things that I guess could be considered positives or things. I think how do we describe this?
I think it's like,
I was high on our call, so I don't remember.
I think it's like we've been talking about how they're kind of stuck around 500. I think it's like ways we see them breaking through.
Oh, yeah.
Potential opportunities for them to elevate above this kind of win 4 in a row, lose 4 in a row kind of thing that they're on right now.
I remember.
It's like work reviews where you don't like have like what you're bad at. It's opportunities.
Yeah.
Things that you can get better at.
I remember now. So yeah, it's like after every loss, Wolves Twitter, and you talked about this last pod, Brandon, Wolves Twitter is like, I'm gonna jump off a bridge and then fall into a pit of fire.
It's exhausting. And then like these games that they're playing without Rudy are so annoying because it's like, if they win, everyone's going to say, look how much better they are without Rudy. And if they lose, they lose.
Just fits the narrative. Whatever they want.
So we're turning the corner into an optimistic podcast. So we picked out some things to help them advance. And I will start because I didn't do How Are the Vibes. And this describes my opinions on what I said earlier about sliding in the playoffs. The injuries. Eventually, Cat will come back and eventually J-Mac comes back. But first, let's talk about the positives of their timeout. I know they're 10-11. They're below 500 without Cat. Worse without J-Mac. How long before Cat went out did J-Mac go out? I don't remember.
I think it was it the same game? Was it that Charlotte game? Because J-Mac went out and then he came back and played like 3 games.
That's
Cat was Pacers.
No, Cat, it was the Hornets game, wasn't it?
I thought it was Wizards. It was Wizards.
Oh, yeah. The Hornets and the Wizards game, that was that stretch where they blew the lead to the Hornets and then just got absolutely decimated by the Wizards. And then they beat the Pacers the next game.
And then, the Pacers game was great, but whatever. So they get injured and things suck. But here are the positives of the timeout. The subtraction of Cat has rapidly sped up the integration of Rudy Gobert. It's made it much simpler. So that's a positive. And that'll help propel them forward in the future. The subtraction of Cat has led to the leap of Anthony Edwards, both in terms of performance and leadership, and also unlocked his proficiency as the primary ball handler without J-Mac and the fall of D'Angelo Russell, which we'll talk about later. In a Catless world, Anthony Edwards is averaging 24.9 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, and 5 assists. Call me a homer, but that sounds like an all-star.
I think so too. I don't think he's gonna get.
No, he won't.
I think if he does get in, it'll be like because Zion Williamson doesn't play or something, and a spot opens up. But I have a hard time with how negative the sentiment around the Wolves all season has been from like a national perspective, that they're going to reward them with an all-star if we're like 9th or 10th.
What's the voting again? It's like there's the fan votes.
That's just for starters. It's coaches selection for the rest of the roster. And I mean, historically, like, it's far more likely that like Denver and Memphis get 2 all-stars than those teams just get 1, and they give 1 to like the 9 or 10 seeds best player. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think anyone would trade Anthony Edwards for Aaron Gordon or anything, but I think Aaron Gordon is going to be rewarded for being the second best player on a really good team. I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched that much Nuggets this year. I've watched them when they play the Wolves, and I look at the stats and I see that they're good. I have watched Aaron Gordon do nothing but suck this year.
He looks lost out there.
That's a whole new anti-national.
We'll save that for a full pod.
Yeah, the national media hates the Wolves, and it goes back to a conspiracy that the NBA wants us to be the punching bag because it's just easy fodder, but whatever. So that's been a good thing. We have an all-star Anthony Edwards. I don't care what anyone says. And the subtractions of Cat and J-Mac also led to productive minutes of Austin Rivers, still being a rotation player.
Love Austin Rivers.
Is he playing tonight, or is he still hurt?
I think he's playing tonight. Naz Reid, Luka Garza, and to lesser extent, Nate Knight, and to even lesser extent, Wendell Moore Jr. has gotten some shine. And while this is happening, the Wolves managed to maintain a near 500 record without Cat and J-Mac, and some of those losses include competitive L's to teams like the Nuggets, like we saw yesterday. Moral victories. I don't want to call them competitive losses. I'm going to call them almost wins.
We only get like 0.9 losses for them and 0.1 wins. So those really add up throughout the year. So it's like soccer where they do the goal differential thing.
Well, the DVOA.
Actually, the Timberwolves have a pretty terrible point differential this year, so we don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that. All I was to say is, the L's are frustrating, and they more often than not shoot themselves in the foot repeatedly, just unload the clip into their foot. But I don't think we should let this frustration as a fan base cloud the fact that there are signs of a competitive basketball team that could be scary as a low seed come playoff times. Things have not been rosy, but the injuries have forced the team to learn some positive things, and like how to play with Rudy, how to reintegrate Cat, and introducing a true point guard like J-Mac could really boon the team into the next level, which brings me to Brandon, as you're going to talk about my favorite player who's in a tough spot in the contract year, D'Angelo Russell.
I think your rose-colored glasses stuff is good. I mean, I think there's obviously like the optimistic view is that, but I think the pessimistic view is like possibly integrating Cat back into this thing might be like harder, and then they're going to stumble a little bit more. But yeah, like I think the rose-colored glasses view of them being like 2 games below 500, and we can say all we want about like we gave up too much in the trade and all that stuff, but the fact of the matter is, if we had run it back and Karl Anthony Towns had missed 2 months of last year's team, this team would be terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was the best player by far on a team last year that won 47 games in a way more competitive Western Conference.
Well, hang on, we would have had Walker Kessler, so
if we ran
it back this year, and we had Walker Kessler.
I thought you were saying
we would be. How many games have we played this year?
We're 22 and 24, I think.
Yeah. Okay, if we had Walker Kessler and no Rudy, we would be
undefeated.
Let me do the math here. 32-8.
We would have a lot of rebounds.
Well, that is some crazy math, especially considering we played 6 less games in your version.
We won those games good.
Huge wins above replacement for Walker Kessler.
Well, no, you had less games.
Wait,
we played 46 games. You said 32.
Oh yeah, some teams
we would have played less games with
some
Walker
teams
Kessler.
are so scared they forfeited. That's what happened.
Yeah, that was a cut.
This might actually be the Walker Kessler thing. Might actually be a good segue into my rose-colored glasses thing, because I think there's a strong case to be made that if Walker Kessler was on this team with a different point guard, there's a decent chance he wouldn't look nearly as good as he had looked with the Utah Jazz and Mike Conley as their point guard.
Ooh.
My sign for optimism as the number one D'Angelo Russell hater in the world is the removal of D'Angelo Russell from this team in the next 3 weeks or so, and replacing him with, hopefully, fingers crossed, Mike Conley. I don't really even know what to say anymore with D'Angelo Russell. I think it's really telling with D'Angelo Russell that the shooting has been terrific this year, and he has still been a completely not an impactful, potentially negative player throughout most of the season. The defense, we talk about the defense a lot. The defense is just really, really bad. Both the point of attack stuff is terrible. Lately, the transition defense has been really, really bad. I mean, like standout, like
extra bad.
Like clip videos, like what the hell is going on here? When he got beat down the floor after Kyle Anderson got called for a travel yesterday for an easy layup, that was just like, what are you doing? You look back at like the Utah game, there was a possession in the fourth quarter. Wolves were up 8, and he got beat down the floor off of a missed 3. He got beat down the floor for an alley-oop layup to Ochai Agbaji that cut it to 6, and then like the stuff just kind of like rolled from there. So, and I think he just like he plays at like that slow, methodical pace, but all the things that the slow, methodical pace thing should lead you to be like really good in the half court. All the things the Timberwolves are like really bad at are things that having a really slow, methodical point guard should fix. It's just really like not working. And then we talk about like that I'm an alpha quotes, and he's just like a painful lack of self-awareness from the guy. And he's just kind of shown that he's either incapable or unwilling of effectively taking a back seat to just these better players. And I view Mike Conley as like everything I want from a point guard. If I'm talking about guys that I think they can get in a D'Angelo Russell trade, another downside of trading all your draft picks and assets in the Rudy Gobert trade is you left yourself nothing. You did all that and you did not get rid of D'Angelo Russell. And so you're left with
D'Angelo Russell.
You're left with D'Angelo Russell and no real ticket off of him to significantly upgrade without, in like a Mike Conley case, taking back some bad money into next year because he is old. I think he's 35 this year, going to be 36 next year. Old, small.
Looks 28.
Old, small point guards, though,
age.
They can age really fast. Like maybe he has the Chris Paul aging curve and he's good into his late 30s, but the chances are like when it falls fast. But he's not Jaden McDaniels by any means, but Mike Conley is a capable point of attack defender. This is another thing. Like this is just turning into a huge like.
Let's talk about
D'Angelo
more
Russell.
Mike Conley, less D'Angelo Russell.
But like something Mike Conley would allow them to do that D'Angelo Russell, they like to do Rudy in that spy Rudy role they call where they have Rudy Gobert guard the worst offensive player on the other team. Against Cleveland, he guards Isaac Okoro. Against Denver, he guards Aaron Gordon, and then Kyle Anderson takes the center, and then Rudy can just kind of roam around and block shots. They can't do that with D'Angelo Russell on the floor because those guys that Rudy Gobert guards in those situations are the guys that D'Lo has to guard because of his. If he guards a capable guy, if he guards a guy on the point of attack who's capable of attacking, all they got to do is like set a screen, and D'Angelo Russell's just like, shit, I guess I'm out of this one. It's 4-on-5 now. So Mike Conley, super physical. He's undersized, but he's still pretty quick. Headband wearer. The shot making hasn't been as good as D'Angelo Russell, but he's a capable knockdown shooter if he's open. I think he's like 35% this year, but he's 38% for his career. But the big thing for me with him is just kind of having an adult in the room, a veteran presence, a guy who's going to. Like we talk a lot about like Ricky Rubio and then Patrick Beverley, like these guys being like ants guys. I think Mike Conley is the exact type of guy you want, like the environment for Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards and potentially Naz Reid and these young guys. I want those guys growing up in an environment with a guy like Mike Conley around compared to a guy like D'Angelo Russell around.
He does have dad energy now that I think about it. He definitely exudes like NBA dad.
Conley?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And then the last Mike Conley thing that I think is a real like boon in favor of him is any other trade. So we've seen this with D'Angelo Russell, and we've heard quotes from Mike Conley and from people in Utah. Learning to play with Rudy takes time. And so if you are trading D'Angelo Russell in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the trade deadline's like 3 weeks away,
Mm-hmm.
then if you're not trading for Mike Conley, who is a guy who knows how to play with Rudy Gobert, you're resetting that clock.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, as much as we can be frustrated around D'Angelo Russell, he's closer to knowing how to play with Rudy Gobert than if they went and traded for Kyle Lowry or John Wall or
Well, hey, now.
name other point guards.
John Wall would be sick.
John Wall
It would be
sucks,
sick.
dude.
What?
It wouldn't fit on the team, but yeah, it'd be cool.
It'd be amazing.
It'd be a great name to have on
It'd
the
be an amazing
a Wolves
name.
jersey, a Wolves wall jersey would be dope.
See, now
That's why you want
That's
him.
why you're speaking my language, bro. John Wall would be crazy. To lead the second unit, you can start J-Mac. You can start Austin Rivers. Point and.
All right. Anyway, finish your
But
point.
so my point though is, so you bring in a guy who has that chemistry, who knows how to play with Rudy Gobert. You're accelerating that timeline
You teach
both
and-
this
That's a
year
start, yeah.
and next year.
Yep.
Right.
So I think that's the ideal fit. The question obviously becomes, it was really public knowledge during the Rudy Gobert trade negotiations that Utah doesn't want D'Angelo Russell. So it becomes a matter of, do you have to get a third team involved? The Timberwolves don't have picks to send out, but like maybe the Clippers really like D'Angelo Russell and it's some sort of 3-team deal where he's going to the Clippers, or maybe you're getting Miami involved and they're taking D'Angelo Russell because they're really interested in clearing that luxury tax space for next year. And maybe Utah then is motivated to like take a pick and Kyle Lowry as a way of like,
I heard Lowry's off the table now because Miami's like 113 of 19.
well, Miami wants to
still think
reset
they're
the,
shopping him.
they actually want
It's
to
the
trade
money.
Duncan Robinson, but there's no one's trading for Duncan
No
Robinson.
one wants Duncan Robinson.
So yeah,
Sheen.
the trade is difficult. But I think that's the most realistic guy that they could get, that I would get excited
I agree.
about.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like your best bet is, like you said, it's either, I mean, it's a 3-team trade, but you're going for guys that, or you're going for teams that want to clear that cap space to like go get a
Yeah, there's
max
not
player.
clear cap space. I mean, the free agent class this next year isn't very good. It's more
Yeah.
about getting under the luxury tax line.
Yeah, true.
That's Miami's motivation. They're $23 million over the luxury tax next year. If they can trade Duncan Robinson or Kyle Lowry and get an expiring contract back in their place, then they fall under that luxury tax line. They avoid the repeater tax, because the way the luxury tax works is the rate goes up every year you repeat in it. So it's teams are motivated to get under it once so that they can go
Nice.
back into it.
Oh, yeah.
Run it back.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, curious, like, I mean, do you think that Utah, like, obviously it was public knowledge that they didn't want D'Lo before the season started, but seeing kind of where they are and what their ceiling is, do you think that they'd ever be interested? I know you don't know, but speculating, do you think they would ever be interested in, like, let's run it with D'Lo to the end of the year? We have picks. Like, we're also trying to rebuild towards the future.
I was gonna say, I don't think their motivation. I think their motivation for taking a player like D'Angelo Russell back in a trade would be, if it's a 3-team scenario where they're getting picks, or maybe they really like a guy like Naz Reid, and that could be like filler. I'm cynical take. The Utah Jazz didn't want to be good this year.
Yeah.
A way to get worse would be to trade Mike Conley for D'Angelo Russell.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That would be
my
the
Lord.
elite tank.
You
move.
get worse, and you have an expiring
Trade for D'Angelo
contracts.
Russell and give him the keys.
My Lord. Okay.
So the one last thing I was going to say
Yeesh.
about that is that, like, we've seen this year just how much that Patrick Beverley covered up D'Lo's weaknesses on defense, like how much he helped him out. But like, I don't know that much about Mike Conley, but I'm trusting you in that it would be so nice just to have a player that's maybe not as good offensively, but is better defensively. So it's like, okay, we don't need a ball-centric point guard.
I would compare Mike Conley. He's a little bit bigger, but I would compare him a lot to like McLaughlin.
Okay.
Defensively,
Yeah.
where you're not going to say, McLaughlin, go lock up Darius Garland or something, but you're not worried that you're just going to get absolutely cooked on that matchup, and teams aren't going to hunt that matchup on switches the way they do with D'Angelo Russell. And Mike Conley is just going to play more physically. He's going to get up in guys. He's going to fight through screens. He's going to be way better in transition defense. And he's just cerebral D'Angelo Russell. He's just a much smarter basketball player.
Yeah.
I've been wanting Mike Conley in this team like for 12 years. So I'll take
but
it.
that was back when Mike Conley was like awesome.
Yeah, but he's still
Memphis.
sick, and he also has a nice smile, which is a big criteria.
Yeah, he's
for
a
me.
fun player. He would be a great.
Purely vibes.
Yeah, he would be great vibes.
That's all I
really
need.
would.
Great vibes, but great vibes in a way like that also I think lead to
it's not
better
just
play from role
to
players
better
and stuff
basketball.
like that.
Yeah.
Sick. What about Ricky Rubio? Can we trade for him?
I
We've
think
been over
Ricky
this.
Rubio would be a great fit
Yeah.
on this team, but the Cavs love Ricky Rubio.
And everyone laughed at me when I said I'm sad.
Well,
Not you guys.
We're gonna
No.
do another quick tangent, hypothetical aside.
Yeah.
I love Taurean Prince. I like that we have Taurean Prince. How much better would things have been if we had just traded D'Angelo Russell instead of Ricky Rubio 2 years ago?
It would be amazing.
And like we had the exact same team. We had Ant and Cat and Ricky Rubio as the point guard, and we didn't have this like $30 million albatross like turnover machine that doesn't run back on defense.
Imagine the gifts of Pat Bev, Ricky Rubio, and Anthony
Oh
Edwards.
my.
Imagine the interviews. It would just be
Change your face.
It'd be amazing.
Well, later when we get into the Wolves at 285, think how high Ricky Rubio could have climbed on that list. He's already very high.
He could have been one.
Yeah.
Durf, we have to do we're running so long. Give us your rose color, your
I'll
Derrick
try
Rose color
to keep it
glasses.
summarized.
Yeesh.
Yeah, that's a great transition to one of my two topics, which is better point of attack defense. I don't think that this is any surprise to anybody in this room or listeners that that is definitely a area of room for improvement, and we can get there. We have some good defenders in this team. Jaden McDaniels, generational defender. TP's been solid. Slow-mo. Even guys like Wendell Moore, who don't play often, but I mean, he definitely has shown flashes on the defensive end.
I like that guy.
But the problem is that we don't have our guys, like the guys that make up this, like your star basketball players. D'Lo being the most glaring hole, but like even Ant doesn't show up. Like he just kind of picks and chooses the games that he's going to play, like show up for. Rudy's been hit or miss. Like Rudy has definitely been better.
Yeah,
but
I think the Rudy thing is if the point of attack defenders were like 25% good at point of attack defense instead of 0% good, Rudy Gobert would be amazing.
Yeah.
But guys are just like full sprinting towards him because we just like kind of olay them to the rim.
So Rudy, like even Naz, when he's on the court, just needs to like buckle down. But yeah, it just seems like they slow down and they're just picking and choosing like when to play defense, when to show up. But right now we have a defensive rating as a team of 114, which puts us right in the middle. We are 15 of 30 teams. And that's like without our star players showing up. And like all this to say is that there is a very high ceiling for how good we could be if just our defense, like even if just those star players start to try.
Or just if Jaden McDaniels stopped like getting angry and pushing guys.
Yeah, I love angry J-Mac. Can someone refresh me? Defensive rating is the points we would give up per
points
60.
per 100 possessions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyway, that's all that to say is that's with just these guys that I've like just are good defenders playing that are half of them are coming off the bench. So yeah, if we could just get our star players to just put in a little bit more effort, just marginal increase in defensive ability or effort, we could be a lot better as a team and win some of those close games that you're talking about.
I even view it more as because I'm just like out on the idea that D'Angelo Russell can be a capable point of attack defender. More
rose-colored glasses.
Yeah,
so,
this
but
is a
no,
positive.
so my rose-colored glasses view isn't that like I think that's going to magically happen.
Yeah.
It's you lean more into the guys that are capable point of attack defenders. You know, maybe Taurean Prince, instead of playing 25 minutes a night, plays 30 minutes a night. Maybe Austin Rivers, instead of playing 18 minutes a night, plays 22 minutes a night.
We've kind of seen that shift happen in the rotations with more.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen closing lineups that don't include D'Angelo Russell, and coincidentally, in those small sample sizes, those are the closing lineups that worked. I mean, he didn't close the Cleveland game in favor of Taurean Prince, Jalen Noel, Austin Rivers, and those guys. Like even Jalen Noel, not like a world-beating point of attack defender. He's pretty terrible actually, but simply by like having quicker feet than D'Angelo Russell, he's able to at least like put up a fight.
Yeah. That's all it is. And going back to like your effort thing and the point of attack thing, what's frustrating, and I bring this up all the time, like D'Angelo, there's moments where like when he does take a back seat, we play so much better. And when he sprints and when he tries, it works, and he just doesn't more often than not, which is why he is my favorite player. We gotta get him off the team. Yeah, it's not working.
I mean, I think it's like
Cat's my favorite player.
I think there's like this D'Angelo Russell like mental like.
He's an alpha.
So like the cerebral thing. He's like, he kind of like does these calculations.
I like that this segment just turned into D'Lo again.
Yeah, no, I mean, but like, I'm sorry, but D'Lo is the biggest symptom of the team's problem.
He is the problem.
So, but he does like these calculations. It feels like, I don't have any insight into his mind, but it'll be like D'Angelo Russell never does the thing that takes a 50% proposition and turns it into a 40% proposition. Like, guy wide open in the corner, that's a 50% shot. If D'Angelo Russell closed hard, he could turn it into a 40% shot. But in his head, he's just like, it's going to go in probably. So he just like kind of mails it in. And those just kind of add up throughout the whole game. Like he doesn't get the loose balls. He doesn't close hard here and there. He doesn't sprint back because probably they're not going to throw some long outlet pass to this guy. And that adds up to 6, 7, 8, 9 points a game. And it just like I said, there are all these little margins, like these little margins of like 5% here, 5% there that maybe don't end up mattering in that individual play, but over these large samples,
when you lose by 5,
he's taking these 50% shots and making them a 60%.
Yes, exactly.
Because he's making the worst possible.
This isn't very rose-colored, guys.
No, and so so I think what we need to focus on is what you said, where we need to start making some of these defensive shifts, not let him close, focus on our good defenders, and then the people that the players that can actually put forth more effort, Ant, Rudy, Naz, when he plays, just hustle more. You know, there's a reason why TP was such a huge spark. I mean, offensively, but also defensively.
Because he gives a shit and he's good.
Exactly. And that's what defense is. It's giving,
it really is just
giving a shit.
And just be a nuisance and put a body on somebody.
Just try.
Like it really is just trying.
We play in our rec league. I actually play well defensively, and it's because I get annoyed.
It's a 1-to-1.
I play a lot like D'Angelo Russell in that rec league. No, I don't close hard at all.
There was a couple
of bad knee.
There was a couple times where there was 50-50 balls, and I saw you just like,
I got a bad knee these days.
You know, we're not getting paid this kind of money.
This is why we are here behind the mic. Sorry, Durf.
I'll do, because we're running long, I'll just give my quick last point, which was just, we have it in here as have less confidence in themselves when they play hard and try to win every game. Yeah. So what this means is, like, stop playing to the level of your competition, playing down to your competition, I should say. Because we play up against the good teams. We show up against teams like Milwaukee, Cleveland, and Denver. But then we just like let off the gas against teams like Detroit and Miami when they literally have no one playing.
Dude,
nobody was playing.
Man, like, it's crazy when I see like the Pistons on the schedule, I get scared. And when I see the Nuggets, I go, great game incoming. Yeah. Like it's burnt in my brain now.
It's this thing where it's like they decide to take their foot off the gas sometimes, like as a microcosm in games defensively, and then just parts of the season when they're like it's like when you're playing in a game and you're like, I need to catch my breath on defense so that I can show up offensively. They do that for full games when they're like, oh, I don't have to try against Detroit.
Exactly. They try to trade shots, and it's like it's this thing that kind of builds up. Like the more games they win in a row, the more you're like, oh man, when are they going to be like, we finally arrived, and then not give a shit.
Yeah.
Our friend Micah actually had a good joke last year before they kind of turned things around when they were like 4 games below 500 last year, because they kept having the same problem last year. It's kind of a characteristic of the Timberwolves for a while now. He was like, every time they need to hire a guy so that every time they win a game, when they get to the locker room, he can just remind them that they suck.
Yeah. You're not good.
Like, just remember, guys, you still suck.
It is. We've talked about this, but like, it's the smallest amount of success going to someone's head.
Exactly. It's
like,
the Jim Halpert.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you won one game. Don't take the second game off.
My Lord. All right, let's move on because we're running a bit long. I want to skip the recap of the Wolves things bracket because, it happened. Congrats to the playing game.
Yeah, Jally, I think the age of our voters really showed that. Voting the play-in game over the 0-4 conference finals run
Little
is pretty
bit of
hilarious.
recency
A little recency bias. But you know what? The vote is the vote. Congratulations, like you said, to the play-in game. I was really hoping, I wanted Glenn Taylor's lasagna. That was who I was pulling for.
Becky Taylor's lasagna.
Yeah, Becky Taylor's lasagna.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Speaking of, we do lots of fun things on Twitter and on social media at No Pants Crunch. Right now, we're doing the Wolves 285, where Brandon almost exclusively has.
I offered you guys chances to review the list on multiple occasions and was met with silence.
What actually happened was Beck sent us the idea at like 10:30 p.m. and then by midnight he had like the full draft.
Yeah, but I sent it to you multiple times and was like, "Do you guys have any thoughts?"
I've never read 250 words in a row, let alone
10:30 at night means I am stoned and I have a baby, so I'm tired. I'm falling asleep watching Mythic Quest at that time. So great show.
I'll say again, I sent it to you on multiple occasions.
That's whatever. So we're ranking it's not all 285 players in Wolves. Is it everybody?
In Wolves history.
Yeah, every player in Wolves history that's played one game, and they are ranked. So Brandon, there's been some Twitter outcry, someone going, "This guy's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know how to rank Wolves players. I can't believe Duty EB is the number 285. What was your methodology? Because you said it, I don't remember.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I didn't have time to dig into like the advanced stats of all 285 players. The basic methodology to get like a framework, I added points plus rebounds plus assists plus steals plus blocks. I exported the whole list of players from Basketball Reference, added those up, and sorted the list. And that was like my general framework I was working on.
It was 90 seconds of Excel work.
No, that was how it started.
You downloaded and then filtered and sorted.
So then I sorted it, and that was like my general framework. And then I would kind of like look at it in chunks. So it would be like all the guys who only played like 1 or 2 games, and then I would look at their individual stat lines and sort them there. So like that's how Will Conroy ended up last, because he was 0 for 9 from the field. And funny Will Conroy caveat is when we tweeted out 200 through 285, I then thought it would be funny to quote tweet that and explain why Will Conroy was ranked last in Wolves history. So I said, coming in dead last in our rankings is Will Conroy, who played in 2 games for the Wolves and finished 0 for 9 from the field. And later that night, I opened Twitter to a notification that Will Conroy had liked that tweet.
Which is hilarious because you didn't tag him.
Yeah, I know.
He had to have searched his name or somebody sent it to him.
Or someone sent it to him, yeah. And so I hope that Will Conroy wasn't offended by it. I hope he liked it because he saw it and thought it was funny. And it wasn't like his way of being like, I saw this shit.
You know what, Will Conroy, if you're out there, we'll give you a segment if you want to come on the show,
the pod,
and we can talk through this and tell us why you should be.
Yeah, you can explain to me. There was a lot of talk about what's his name,
Adrian Payne.
No, a lot of people. There was a one guy that really wanted Steve Johnson to be last because Steve Johnson played 4 games and had 6 turnovers and 4 fouls. A fair critique.
Pretty good stat line to be the worst.
Also plainest name in history.
So yeah, but so the thing though, there's a lot of people. We got a lot of talk when we released the bottom of the list. There was a lot of why isn't Indy Eby last? Why isn't Jarrett Culver last? Just like
that's an emotional take.
A lot of people's like least favorite Wolves player. They're like, why isn't this guy last?
Why isn't Jimmy Butler last?
So the thing that I kind of found myself having to balance as I was like doing the rankings is trying to not let expectations compared to output impact the rankings. So like one guy who ended up like crazy high compared to where I would have guessed he was going to end up is like Chris Dunn.
I was just going to say
is in the top 150. We haven't even released him yet. So Chris Dunn is in the top 150, even though like the expectations, like he was the 5th overall pick or whatever.
Yeah.
he still had an okay Wolves career and was like a good point of attack defender. And you really realize when you get into this how few people have played more than like 3 seasons for the Wolves. Because like another guy who hasn't showed up yet, it was really hard ranking Shabazz Muhammad, who is like crazy high on a lot of Wolves all-time stats lists.
Yeah, that is a definite like expectations versus like you really have to not expect or take expectations out of it.
Do you guys remember my Shabazz Muhammad phase in college?
I don't.
Were you
I was
Shabazz?
I was a believer.
This is very on brand. For
I was a
Jordan.
believer
Very
in
on
Shabazz
brand.
Muhammad.
I hated him. I couldn't stay because I didn't like him at UCLA. And like it was just one of those things where it was like take whoever besides Shabazz Muhammad.
I liked the number 15. I thought that was a cool thing.
That was the we traded for him, right? We picked
Shabazz Muhammad was we traded Trey Burke for
Trey
Shabazz
Burke, yeah.
Muhammad and Gorgie.
and
Jang.
I was so excited.
Another one, Gorgie Jang. People are going to be shocked how high Gorgie Jang is.
I would put him pretty high.
He played what 5 seasons for us?
6, I think. Gorgie Jang is in the top 20.
I was gonna say,
I mean, he was the starting center for
he's 12. I'm predicting.
a few years.
No, that's too high.
Shit.
12.
But another funny thing that I've noticed is like for the people that are really, really low, like Luka Garza in the rankings is 208th. Since we tweeted out these rankings, Luka Garza is absolutely in the top 200 now.
Look at my boy rise.
He's had 2 good games. There's no way he hasn't like passed Alexei Pesharov, who's 194.
with everything.
Like, how high can Luka Garza climb just with each individual game?
Congrats, Luka. Frankly,
my boy.
man, he was throwing flames yesterday.
Dude, that 3
He's
drain.
awesome. In the
He had
fourth?
16 points in like how many minutes did he play?
I like it a
Like
lot.
15 minutes.
I like it a lot.
Okay.
Also to say, Wolves 285. What? I guess I'm trying to think of the takeaway is holy shit. We've not had much longevity or consistency.
Rudy
Yeah, I mean,
Gobert's
it's
only
absurd.
Rudy Gobert's only played like 30 some games for the Wolves. He's already in the top 50
Rudy,
because
That's
he's
my
had
guy.
like 3 20-20 games.
The redemption.
Having like a couple good games gets you shockingly high. Mo Williams is in the top 100 and he had 1 50-point
I was
game.
gonna say, I'd put him in the top
Yeah.
50 just because of that game. I think that Justin Patton is shockingly low. He's the only guy to have back-to-back broken feet.
Justin
And
Patton, one of 8 Timberwolves players to only play 1 game.
insane.
Yeah, but he's 2 for 2 on broken feet. Nobody else on
True.
this list has back-to-back broken
Remember
feet.
when everyone's like, we got Justin Patton in the G League, going to be crazy when he comes up.
I remember being optimistic about him.
Number
He
24,
was-
he's coming.
yeah, he was. It was like, oh, is this a sneaky pick? It's like a late first round.
Oh God,
Narrator
Second round
voice.
pick.
It was not.
It was not a sneaky pick.
Stinky pick or sneaky?
Stinky or sneaky?
Sneaky.
We'll do that after the draft this year. Stinky or sneaky?
Oh, that's good.
We don't
Mark
have,
this
we don't
down.
have a first round pick this year.
Yeah, that's why second round picks are
Sorry,
going to be
I keep
stinky or
banging
sneaky.
the table with my knee. So at No Pants Crunch on Twitter mostly is where we do most of our fun things, and then at No Pants Crunch on Instagram when I remember to post, and at No Pants Crunch on TikTok when I'm inspired. Last thing I want to talk about our social media. I put out a poll yesterday about if you had to trade D'Angelo Russell, who would you rather have? And these are I think these are almost finalized. The poll is Tracy McGrady now old, 2003 Tracy McGrady, Rockets T-Mac or Corey Koski of the Minnesota Twins. Corey Koski is the runaway winner at 54.5%.
I voted for old Tracy McGrady just as a way of saying I would trade D'Angelo Russell for anything.
I would not trade D'Lo for Corey Koski because I think D'Lo could be a solid baseball player. I do not think Corey Koski could be a good
No, I think
basketball
that-
So
player.
I have the complete opposite
same.
take. There's 0 chance D'Angelo Russell could be a capable professional baseball
dude,
player.
just
Imagine how slow he'd swing the
Do you
bat.
see the video? They went and played softball.
That's softball.
Do you realize the difference between softball and professional baseball?
Oh wait, no!
No.
Don't get Beck started on baseball.
Wait, hang on.
This is not a baseball pod.
do the Twins? No, who's the Minnesota team?
We didn't mention anything about the Twins. You just brought up the Twins.
Rent free.
Russell? So anyway.
Rent free.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Corey Koski.
Corey
Runaway.
Koski, whatever.
Actually, you're the one that brought up the Twins with Corey Koski.
Even with the concussions,
Who?
I'll take Corey Koski over D'Lo.
I would honestly rather get concussed again than have to think about the
Corey
Minnesota
Koski
Twins.
has like 9 concussions.
Yeah.
You know what has around 9 flavors, give or take?
Tell me.
Joe Mama salsa. How many flavors do they have? I think they have 6. I'm gonna go to joemamasalsa.com.
With roasted garlic.
Well, let me see the website.
okay.
Mango habanero.
I'm just trying to see if I can do this.
I'm just saying the ones that you've listed in the ad reads before.
and then they have the mild, medium, I think,
I guarantee you at
what's-
some point in this
what's
ad read,
the-
Jally's going to say it's not too salty.
I'm not going to say that this time. There's 6.
Yeah,
There's
let's see if
6
we can
flavors.
see if we can guess it. This is a game. We have roasted garlic. We have mango habanero.
No, it's pineapple mango. You already lost.
Well, that was Beck's guess.
We're
We have
running up on time. Let's just say the flavors.
We'll cut that.
So, where was I?
Run it back.
The website. JoMamaSalsa.com. JOMOMMAS.com. That's where you buy the salsa. They got free shipping. Okay, you don't need to hit a minimum. You can buy 1 jar and they're going to eat the shipping on their end. The same way you're going to eat that salsa like a freaking madman, okay? Joe Mama Salsa is made in River Falls, Wisconsin. We're counting that as local, even though it's a different state. Like, what is it? Like a 30-minute drive? 40-minute drive?
Wisconsin?
No, River Falls.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 40 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah, that's local to me. And also the ingredients are locally sourced, including, Minnesota sourced ingredients. I'm sure there's maybe some Dakota stuff in there. Iowa. And the Joe Mama Salsa team is based out of Woodbury. So instead of lining the pockets of big salsa that makes the salty ketchup that you dip your freaking nasty chips in,
Tomato paste based.
don't line the pockets of big salsa. Instead, line the pockets of our fellow Minnesotans and River Fallsians at Joe Mama Salsa. Buy yours at JoeMamaSalsa.com. Remember, free shipping. My favorite's pineapple mango. What's your favorite, Durf?
I go mild.
Brandon, what's your favorite?
The pineapple mango.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. If you don't order it now, Brandon and I will order all the pineapple mango, and you won't get any
It'll be all gone.
Too late.
I'm gonna make the Woodbury, whatever they're doing in Woodbury. I'm gonna make them work overtime, big.
The website says it's all sold out. That's like what Supreme does, wouldn't you say?
All right, let's get
That's
into our Wolves villains draft. We are drafting a team of villains, but it's not what you think. It could be a person that played for the Wolves and was antagonistic, or it can be a person that antagonizes the Wolves. Did I get that right?
Person, place,
Yeah,
or thing.
just like
Cool.
a general Wolves villain.
Let's
So-
get that randomizer going.
So the team could be like, we have the biggest villain, right? Kevin Garnett was a villain, paired with Ed Malloy.
I don't
And they could
think Kevin Garnett is not on my board.
Well,
I think
he-
they're villains towards the Wolves.
I thought we were doing both.
we said no stipulation,
Oh,
so
well.
it can be up
Was
to,
this guy stoned
If
during the
anything-
meeting?
I'm
If anything, he's not taking your picks,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, if you want Kevin Garnett,
you're gonna get a better team because of it.
Well, I didn't prep very well then.
you're going to take Patrick Beverly.
Well, I'm gonna have
Hey,
a.
it's okay.
That's all right.
We,
Well-
we specifically said on the call no stipulations.
Yeah, we said no stipulation,
I was viewing
so
this
it's-
as guys I was viewing this as villains towards the Wolves.
Classic
People
Beck
as a
rule
Wolves
follower
fan that
over
I
here.
interpret as a villain towards me.
This guy stops
Patrick
at
Beverly
every.
and Kevin Garnett are heroes.
They're heroes.
This guy stops at every stop sign over here,
So,
rule follower.
which that's fun. No stipulation. So it's about how we sell our picks. The teams will be made of 3 players, 2 non-players, and a wild card.
Wild card,
Ooh.
bitches.
Wild card.
So hit that Excel spreadsheet randomizer. but-
Okay. Do we want to do a
And special number.
Special number.
Yeah, special number. What's our range?
1 through 1,000.
Special number is 666.
oh,
That was what it was last time.
Was it?
Yeah.
no.
I
we'll-
need to get
we're
new
gonna do
picks.
386.
386.
I gotta do new. That's a dumb.
386 is not one of the
I'm
numbers.
usually good at this.
We've done it 3 times.
The
I know,
first
I've never
over-
got it.
The first overall pick,
Me.
me.
Shit.
That was
Second
you
overall
got
pick.
it last time.
It's a random number generator.
Is
There's
it-
only 3 of us.
We can't see your screen.
Durf has the second overall pick.
For
Jally
the
has
listeners,
third
he just
overall
typed
pick.
in random numbers.
I just showed you guys my whole big board too, just to prove that. The first overall pick, I
Da-na-na-na,
I don't think I can go any other way here. I have to go with my heart, even though I don't think this is like an actual first overall pick level choice. But the man I hate more than anyone else in the world, the biggest bitch in the world. Congratulations to Dylan Brooks, the first overall pick of the Wolves
well
villains
done,
draft.
Dylan. Greasy Dylan.
Dylan Brooks is terrible for multiple reasons.
Why?
One, he is just a total asshole who is trying to intentionally hurt players left and right. Punching Anthony Edwards, tripping guys. He does this against everyone. He seems to antagonize the Wolves most of all. The even worse part about the Wolves is Dylan Brooks sucks at basketball, but plays really well against the Wolves.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Dylan Brooks' career 3-point percentage, if you removed his games against the Wolves, goes down by 2%. His whole career 3-point percentage.
Ick.
That is a wild stat.
Dylan.
So,
Dylan,
Again,
Dylan.
greasy man.
Greasy
Dylan
man,
Brooks,
ugly.
big ol' bitch.
Slick back hair.
Lives for New Year's Eve.
Anyway, this is all like I get what you mean. There were probably higher rankings, whatever. Dylan Brooks is the worst.
Always
And we all
vote your
agree with
heart.
it.
Always vote
Yeah,
your heart. in these
exactly.
All
drafts.
right. I'm glad I got Dylan Brooks.
All right.
All right.
Durf.
Durf, the board is yours.
All right.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na.
I'm not going to give a full analysis because I don't think we have time for this. But I don't think I really have to explain why I'm taking Joel Embiid with my first overall pick.
It's a good one.
Well, no, your second overall pick.
My
round
first overall pick.
pick. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Joel
not how
Embiid,
that works.
Flopping like a fish. Just a big
He's just the most obnoxious man.
Remember when he got in the fight with Kat?
I think Cat won and Ben
Yeah.
Simmons had to pull him out.
when
And
Cat
Ben-
put him in the headlock?
No, Ben Simmons had Kat in the headlock.
Well, no, first Cat had
Yeah.
Oh no, I
And
wasn't
then
saying
Ben Simmons
Joel.
was like choking
Yeah.
Kat out. Yeah.
And then he tapped out. Classic.
Joel
That
Embiid.
was nice.
That is not who I would have had on. I think I had a different guy that I thought was going to go, but Joel Embiid was third on my board.
Yeah.
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. Are you sick of that bit? I am.
On the clock.
I'm picking Ja Morant, my enemy
Nice.
and my friend. I'm friends with his dad.
I figured Jolly was going to take Ja Morant. I did not have Ja on my board.
I didn't write him down, but I definitely thought of him when coming.
It just makes me so. Here's my story with Ja Morant. When I would just see the highlights, me and my wife would go, "Man, Ja Morant's so cool." And then this rivalry started brewing, and we started to see how much he flopped. We started to see how much he would complain and whine. And I thought, hey, if Cat whines and he's the worst player to ever hit the NBA court, how come people don't give that same energy to Ja Morant? It's because we're in a guards league and Ja Morant's in the pocket of big basketball, and the NBA is pushing the Ja Morant agenda, and I am sick of it. I am sick of him flopping his way into a first-round victory that we should have won, but he fools the refs, and I cannot handle it that Ja Morant keeps getting away with it.
That was loud.
And that's why he is my third third overall
You
pick.
didn't even touch on how terrible he is on Twitter.
He's mad cringy on Twitter.
Yeah,
He's very
just-
cringy on Twitter.
Just the worst.
Yep, but his dad's great. We sat next to each other in Game 6, and we became fast friends.
All
T.
right.
Morant, if you're listening, you're still welcome for sushi. I hope you remember me.
All right, if we want to keep this under 2 hours, let's do the wrap.
All right, my wraparound pick. I gotta take another player because I just don't have that many players prepared, and this one, no stipulations. Right, my second player that I'm taking is D'Angelo Russell's fingers, because when he tweets, it's a bad time. D'Angelo Russell, when he opens the Twitter app, is my second pick because when he tweets, nothing good happens. Hey world, I'm shopping.
You can just have D'Angelo Russell.
No, I only want his,
Just the fingers.
I only
He's
want
a
his
villain.
hands. I only want his nice moisturized little hands.
He's an alpha though. It's good. You got some leadership on your team too.
just just the fingers though.
So I got Ja and the basketball terrorist D'Angelo Russell. As a Middle Eastern person, I have to take the basketball terrorist.
I didn't have D'Angelo Russell on my board just
It's a good
because I
joke.
didn't want to.
Thanks.
I laughed,
Thanks,
but
Durf.
I thought he was about to jump in as.
I didn't want to further my D'Angelo Russell hate on the show.
That's
I've said
good.
enough
That's
terrible
nice.
things
Haha,
about
he
the guy.
Jordan's jokes.
Durf, thanks.
All right.
Durf, your pick.
No, wait.
I thought
No,
we
it's
were-
you.
Oh yeah, because I'm second.
We're doing the serpentine style.
okay.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
I'm gonna take. This is a personal pick because I just can't stand this
All
guy.
picks are personal. It's a draft.
You're very right, especially this type of draft. I'm taking Jonas Valanciunas because I can't stand Jonas Valanciunas. Another slick back hair guy, very greasy, and he's
Sloppy
just
steak.
He's just
Chicken
obnoxious.
spaghetti at Ciccolini's.
First of all, he's got a terrible hair. The guy has awful hair. We get you're trying to hide your bald spot in the middle. It's very clear when they show the above camera angle. Anyway,
Hang on, let me look at this.
are you looking up his bald spot?
Jonas Valanciunas. Higher. I had him on my list, but
guy's
higher
ugly
than I
as
would
fuck.
expect him to go.
I hate his. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's just an obnoxious man. Anyway, Beck, take your pick.
How come his face is a hexagon?
Back to me.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
Brandon. What's up?
He has so many
I have
angles.
I have a wraparound
It is a
here.
hexagon.
I am very pleased. The guy who I had first overall on my board that I passed on to get Dylan Brooks is still there.
Who is it?
I can't believe he made it this far. Jimmy Butler.
James
It
Butlerton.
was low hanging fruit.
Jimmy Butler. You can't effing win without me, Jimmy Butler. The Heat can't effing win against the Wolves with you.
Were the Wolves 5-0 versus them since?
The only loss they have to the Heat in the last 3 years was that game that Jimmy didn't play, where all the backups played.
Yeah.
Jim.
Just absolutely like railroaded the franchise for no other reason than he wasn't getting his way. And so we're going to go to my wraparound pick. Our first non-player about to be selected. And it's an easy choice for me. As Alan Horton would say, oh, Ed Malloy!
Our enemy, Ed
Great
Malloy.
pick. Great pick.
Ed Malloy, another slicked back hair, sloppy steaks, looking into that review camera, telling us that Karl Anthony Towns should be kicked out of the game because his foot went slightly sideways when he shot a three-pointer. Meanwhile, I'm watching Jordan Clarkson out there jumping 40 feet every direction, slipping and falling, getting every call he wants. So Ed Malloy, my 3rd round pick.
Ed Malloy kind of looks like if he fell wrong, he'd break in half.
Ed Malloy, fuck that guy.
All right.
Transition out of that.
My pick. I am going to take my first non-player. And this is an easy choice for me. I'm sure this is going to break Jolly's heart. I'm taking notable bitch Taylor Jenkins.
Oh,
good
He's an
choice.
insurrectionist.
The worst. He is confirmed. And that's where we're going to leave that.
Hey, yo, how come Ed Malloy has a massive mouth?
He does. That is not a proportionate mouth.
This dude's mouth game crazy.
That guy legitimately smiles ear to ear.
Bro, that mouth though goes crazy.
All right.
Sorry, yo, Taylor Jenkins. What about him?
That's it.
Oh, you suck?
I just took him.
Okay, cool. My pick is Ed Malloy's mouth.
I get all of Ed Malloy with my pick. I don't know.
Oh, I have John Morant and D'Angelo Russell's fingers.
You have D'Angelo Russell.
No, I have only his soft little...
If he's just his fingers, you have to put it in the wild card because his fingers are
Fine,
not a person.
That's true.
D'Angelo Russell, and I guess, you know what, I'll make that up later. I want to take a non-player. I want to take a wild card. This man is the bane of my existence, or at least he was for a long time. It's Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
I hate this guy. He also railroaded the franchise. You know, Tom Thibodeau were those 6 cops from that one police department, and the Timberwolves were the one girl that fucked all the cops. Did you see that story?
I did see that.
They were running a train on this one female cop, and that's who Tom Thibodeau is. Ran a train on the Timberwolves with his bad attitude and his bad body odor. And I can't believe it.
Threw a computer through a window.
Yeah, great culture guy. I couldn't stand him coaching. He was coaching like it was 2009, even though it was 2018. And it was just old basketball, and it made me mad. And then he was the GM. He made horrible moves, and he traded away Zach LaVine, which was a bummer. And then we fucking did all this shit.
He gave away
just
terrible
sucks.
contracts. Also, talk about bad vibes. That guy's a bad vibe factory.
He is.
Like everyone's sad. Remember the whole thing where like everybody, even the people that just worked in the office were like, this is the most depressing workplace of all time.
Yeah.
Like he just yells all the time.
Good job, Tibbs. Appreciate you. I hope you have a okay day. In my second pick, oh my gosh. The Foreigner, Tim Connolly. I fucking hate this guy. Rudy, we're fine. But what could I say about Tim Connolly? Can I take back my Tim Connolly pick? That's not inspiring me the way I thought it would. I take it back immediately.
Okay.
Grab the card from Adam
I
Silver.
want to draft inside the NBA as my
As your wild
Is that a
card?
wild card or a non-player?
I think that's
It could
a
be-
wild
it could
card.
be either.
You'd have to draft one of the guys, I think, from inside the
It just
NBA.
says 2 non-players. It doesn't say that
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
people.
that's
You
true.
know, they're all
Then they're
pe-
just
yeah.
all wild cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm taking inside the NBA.
Wild card.
They are just massive haters. I don't think they've ever watched a second of Timberwolves basketball.
Shaq was very positive about the Wolves before the season because Shaq really likes big guys, and we got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Barkley hates us, though.
I just hate the idiots. Man, fuck you. It makes me angry.
Jolly living up to his guy who swears a little
Yeah,
too
no,
much.
I'm just sorry. My bad.
Barkley hates that Karl Anthony Towns
So,
shoots threes.
I was gonna say,
which is hilarious because Barkley shot a ton of threes and was terrible at them.
Yeah, so like, oh, it's just like I hate the national media in general just has it out for the Timberwolves, and inside the NBA is a big source of that for me, and it just makes me so sad. Durf,
I was
it's
just
all
gonna
you.
say I did have an adjacent on my big board. It was Charles Barkley when he tries to comment on the Wolves after watching 3 minutes of a Wolves game all year long. That was my potential.
He's
pick.
still kind of on the board. Are the hosts of Inside the NBA still on the
I think
board?
the hosts are still on the board.
I wasn't
Yeah.
gonna
because
take that.
that's your wild card, right?
No, it's a non-player.
Then what's the difference between a non-player and a wild
A
card?
wild card
I
could be an
think-
entity.
I took
So you inside the NBA
No,
is an
so
entity.
the way I interpreted this was 3 players and then 2. It could be anything, and wild card is just like your bench player, like any of the above.
So I interpreted it as
No
3 players,
stipulations.
2 like coaches, executives, refs.
Oh yeah, I had a different interpretation.
Okay.
So I guess I could use my wild card for this one because
Do it.
it's more in Brandon's definition. But my pick is going to be Gerson Rosas' affair with former VP of Communications Engagement Bree Bauer.
Oh, so just the whole banging.
That happening because he had he was a pretty solid Pobo for some time. He made some good moves. He made some good picks.
He traded a first-round pick at Andrew Wiggins for D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, but he also made
at the time that was a slapper.
He also hit on all of his draft picks.
She drafted Sharon.
Yeah, I know,
Culver.
but that one I don't.
The only like real move that Gerson Rosas did that was like awesome was the Patrick Beverly trade.
No, he
genius.
drafted Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, I guess.
Like
and Nas.
I'm saying all of
He
his
didn't- they signed him as
all
an
of his
undrafted free
all of his
agent.
picks,
Still counts.
all of his picks, and I'm including Nas
Drafted
Reed
Jared Culver.
outside of, yeah, but that was 5 minutes into he was literally hired like a week before that draft. I think that one and like the effort. Okay, I'll say this. He tried to make the Darius Garland pick happen. And that
I
was,
really wanted them to draft LeBron James in 03, but he just didn't fall past 1.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, so
that did derail the organization a little bit.
So let's recap. So I have John Morant and D'Lo and Tom Thibodeau and Inside the NBA. You have Gerson Rosas, frickin', and
That's a villainy move.
that's a villainy move.
Yeah.
Banging is inherently villainistic.
Yeah, but also outside of the marital, like not
Oh.
open. It's not an open marriage.
They were like making out at the United game.
Yeah, he didn't even try to hide it. He was
Yeah,
just
that's
like
weird. Yeah, I
public
guess
dates.
it's more on it. Yeah, so infidelity is on your team.
Yeah, infidelity's on my team.
All right. Well, it's back to me. I'm liking my team so far, guys.
I hate my team.
I've got Dylan Brooks, Jimmy Butler, and Ed Malloy, and I am taking my last player. You're shaking your head like you know who I'm going to take.
I feel like go ahead.
I don't think you know who I'm going to take. I am taking Chris Paul.
Yeah,
Jersey
he was
man.
on my
Jersey man.
Untucked Jersey Gate Chris Paul. Just the revisionist history in me says that like the Thunder and Wolves were like running parallel, and then Untucked Jersey Gate happened, and the Wolves season spiraled out of control, and the Thunder went on to make the playoffs and play the Rockets in the first round. And yeah, Chris Paul. And so it's back to me on the wraparound then. So I have a non-player
Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na.
and a wild card left.
wild
And
card.
I'm going to take my second non-player here. Shocked that this man has fallen as far as he's fallen.
Who is it?
David Kahn.
Dang it.
David
That was my next pick.
Kahn.
David Kahn selecting every point guard except for Stephen Curry.
Didn't
in
Steph
the
not want to come
draft.
here though? Didn't he tell us that he didn't want to come here? Wasn't that
I
the
would
story?
much rather have Steph not want to come here than Johnny Flynn.
Yeah.
Johnny Flynn, 85th best player in Wolves history according to the Wolves 285.
He's just, David Kahn just, I was going to put him on my list, but I was like, he's just not a villain enough. He just was a guy over his head. And as someone who's been over his head,
He's
I'm just
kind
like,
of an
that's
ass too, though.
me. Was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
He got a
yeah.
lot of ass quotes.
Yeah, but David
ass quotes.
Great stuff.
but the memes though.
The memes, though.
What they could have been. All right.
This is your sixth pick?
We're really closing up on 2 hours here. So and we still
No,
gotta do our
We
wow.
started late.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
This is a two-parter
Now I
for
lost
sure.
where it is. I'm going to take my final player, and it's Andrew frickin' Wiggins.
I wanted Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah,
he was a potential wild card
because
for me.
he is an all-star when he plays us. For whatever reason, the dude can just ball
Classic.
against his old team because he's got it out for us.
and he
it's so
looked
sad.
he looked Glenn Taylor in the eyes,
him-
he lied.
What a liar.
Liar.
I need to take one more player, and this is the only non-Wolf player I have left. Devin Booker, a former future Wolf
I had him on mine
who
too.
is just so mean. He's just a mean guy. I love watching him play, but he dunks on D'Angelo Russell, his friend, and then says, I ain't got no friends. He yells at the bench and says, we play team basketball. Don't get me wrong, I respect this immensely. But I get sad watching Devin Booker play the Wolves because I think about that could have been a Wolf. He's friends with D'Lo and Cat. Who knows if they are anymore? But
and he cursed at friend of the pod Jordan Dye.
And he called friend of the pod, future guest on the pod, Jordan Dye, a P.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. He cursed at him.
I can't believe it. So Devin, and then it went viral. Yeah. Good for you, Jordan. ShepherdGoods.com.
Honestly, it is a great story.
That was a great one. So I have the wraparound. I have just my wild card left.
Wild card, bitches.
Wild card. What should I do? I have a couple good things here. I'm gonna take knuckle push-ups as my wild card.
Nice. That's a good one.
That's the entity I was talking about. Knuckle push-ups.
He's got fingers and knuckles on his team.
So Kevin Love wanted out. He punched a wall, but they said it was knuckle push-ups.
Oh, I heard that he punched
his buddy.
He punched his buddy because
he was banging.
Kevin Love was sleeping with his friend's girlfriend or wife.
His girlfriend.
And when his friend confronted him about it, he punched him in the face and broke his hand.
A lot of sex on our list.
Yeah.
A lot of infidelity.
Kevin Love was banging his friend's girl?
Yeah, Kevin Love was a dick.
Yeah. I don't love hearing that. But he's been great for men's mental health.
He's turned it around.
Because now I see him like,
great PR team.
Bro, he was out here smashing his friend's girl.
But and then angrily punching his friend.
It's literally insult to injury. Injury to insult.
Yeah. Bro, I didn't know that. And they blamed it on knuckle push-ups.
Yeah,
it would have
apparently that was the best.
It would have been much better if they let the full story fly, because I would have been like, this is juicy. This is the first time I've ever heard it. I heard another story about how he broke his hand, but we can't say that one on the pod. Joe Eisenminger, how are you? All right.
Izzy.
Durf.
Shout out Izzy. All right, my final pick. This is an easy one, and it's the man that the man who's hired all these guys and who looked Andrew Wiggins in the eyes. It's Glenn frickin' Taylor. Only has to be in our lives for a short period of time, because when is it next year?
Are you gonna kill him?
Yeah, I'm gonna take him out. No,
I don't think anyone needs to do that.
Yeah, I think a strong wind at this point.
He roasts animals alive.
Okay, so is it next year that he's officially like a minority?
I think
he's a minority
owner,
but he's not. He's no longer the guy.
Yeah,
officially next year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the reason why we've been in mediocrity for the last
90 years. Yeah.
40 years.
Sad. This bit's kind of making me sad.
All right, take your last pick and let's do our wow.
My wild card pick is Joe.
Who is it?
It's Joe Smith and everything related to Joe Smith. The under the radar deal, the under the table deal, the losing of draft picks. You want to talk about things that derailed a franchise? We could talk about not having 4 first-round picks during Ant's prime, but we have Rudy Gobert because of that. We had no first-round picks during Kevin Garnett's prime because we signed Joe Smith to a slightly below-market contract and agreed to extend him afterwards.
Bad trade. Wouldn't do it again.
That really makes me sad. I thought this bit would be a fun way to make fun of people, and it just kind of bummed me out. So
we're literally picking like the people that have been worst for our organization over the years.
Yeah, I thought we'd laugh, but I just kind of feel down.
All right, so final teams.
Yes.
I have Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins, Jonas Valanciunas, Taylor Jenkins, Gerson Rosas, and the aforementioned affair, and Glenn T. Rizzle Taylor.
I have John Morant, D'Angelo Russell, specifically his hands, but all of him, but mostly his hands. Devin Booker, Tom Thibodeau, inside the NBA, and knuckle push-ups. Brandon.
I have Dylan Brooks, Jimmy Butler, Chris Paul, Ed Malloy, David Kahn, and Joe Smith, and everything related to him.
I think I lost.
I think I'm going to win.
I think you're going to win as well.
I think I got in the middle, but I think we had some sneaky picks.
Having Jimmy Butler and Ed Malloy is like just a free ticket to win, I think.
He's just pandering to the...
So eventually, I'll put this on Twitter or Brandon. It might be like 4 days after the episode comes out, but at No Pants Crunch, keep an eye out for that poll because you got to vote on it because democracy dies in darkness. And with that, it's time for
Random Wolf of the Week.
Our wow. Guess that wolf.
All right.
What's the official name of this? It's our wow.
It's our wow, but then we always say guess
that wolf
because that's what it is in the agenda.
It's time for Random Wolf of the Week.
Okay, let's freaking do it. All right, Durf, you're the random wolfer.
All right, you guys get one collective guess.
I think it's gonna be. Do you have an idea who it's gonna be?
I think it's gonna be Shabazz Muhammad.
I couldn't disagree more with that. I don't want to guess it.
All right, it is not Shabazz Muhammad. All right. Starting out with clue number 1.
Number 1.
Drafted by the Bucks, this former Wolf spent 11 seasons in the NBA.
Drafted by the Bucks. Terry Porter.
Terry Porter.
It is not Terry Porter.
This is giving me like late 2000s, early 2010s vibes.
Clue number 2.
Mm.
Aside from the Timberwolves, he spent time with the Bucks, Kings, and Hawks.
This guy's right on the tip of my tongue, and it's really pissing me off because there's been a couple Bucks to Wolves. People go, oh, Bucks, cool.
Bucks, Kings, and Hawks.
I think we got him from the Hawks.
It's not Alan Crabb. He played for the Blazers, and he didn't play 11 seasons in the NBA.
I feel like it's how many players do we have named Brandon?
Brandon Roy, Brandon Rush.
We've done both of those recently.
We've done a lot of Brandons.
The Milwaukee thing is raising a flag. I'm gonna guess. No, we are gonna guess. Let's just do Alan Crabb.
Well, it's not Alan Crabb. I'm gonna guess Jeff Teague.
It is.
Well, it's already been Jeff Teague.
It is not Jeff Teague.
But he played for the Bucks and the Hawks and the Wolves.
Yeah, it was a good guess.
That's what I was thinking. Shit, it's not Jeff Teague.
Clue number 3.
We did Jeff Teague? Sorry, number 3.
Clue number 3. He was born and raised in Lake City, Minnesota.
Minnesota guy. We never had Nate Wolters, and he didn't play 11 seasons in the NBA.
Wait, what city was he in? I just forgot.
Lake City.
Lake City.
It's
It's
close to the border.
It's on the way to Winona.
Iowa.
Yeah.
It's not that close, but yeah.
Did Rick Rickard suit up for the term? No, it doesn't count. Bucks, and he's local. He's a local guy. I have absolutely no names coming to me, so Brandon, this is all you.
Yeah, I don't have it. I'm stumped on this one now too. We've never had Mike Muscala.
God, I would love it. Friends with my brother-in-law.
Yeah, he's Roseville.
Yeah,
We should get him on the pod.
I don't know why I'm helping you.
How is that?
I guess
helping us.
I forgot he's not a bit on the team.
Let's get. I might have my brother-in-law on the pod.
Trenton Hassel.
Well, he's not from Minnesota. You silly goose.
I don't think you guys are going to get it based on that clue.
Okay.
Clue number 4. He was one of 2 Wolves on the roster at that time that played for the University of Minnesota.
Oh, Boisers. A U of M person. This makes me wish that I cared about college hoops. Was it? So it wasn't Rick.
Oh, the guy, his son went to Bethel with us.
His son went to Bethel with us?
Who's the guy? Randy Brewer. Is it Randy Brewer?
It's Randy Brewer.
No, what?
Yeah.
So
Randy Brewer?
Clue number 5 was his son played against us in intramurals at Bethel. Yeah, Chris Brewer. He was on, I think he maybe played with J-Dye. He was 1 or 2 years older than us. He played at Bethel.
Oh, wow.
Like freshman year or whatever.
I was in the wrong era for sure.
Yeah, he was 1989 to 92.
Who was the guy that he played with?
I was just trying to look it up. It was the 1990 season. Maybe 1990 Wolves.
He played with.
He was drafted in 1983 and his career ended in 94. He had a good career.
Oh, it was Richard Coffey.
Oh, good old Dick Coffey.
Yep. Which also I did not realize that he maybe he didn't play, but he was on the Wolves roster.
Yeah, he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Well, this thus concludes a long episode of Crunch Wears No Pants.
I think it's about the same length as last week's.
Maybe it is.
I really thought I was going to get you guys with that one. I mean, the 5th clue would have given it away.
Yeah.
Good pick.
If you listen this far in the podcast, please make sure you give us a 5-star rating or a 1. But if it's a 1, it has to be a scathing review. You can't just say 1 and walk away.
Yeah, you really have to dig into us personally.
Yeah. So please do that. Hopefully a 5, but if you're if it's gonna be less, make it spicy. And follow us on social media at No Pants Crunch. Please drive safe on those icy roads. See you later.
And if nobody's told you today, we love you dearly.
So much. That was nice.